And a good evening. Welcome out to Little Woodrose. It's time now to talk Lamar University football. Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando. Cardinals, 27-13 win over Northwestern State this past Saturday afternoon. 3 wins in a row. Looking at the top of the Southland Football Conference standings, it's the Lamar Cardinals at 2-0. We don't care about anybody else. Right now it's the Lamar Cardinals at 2-0 in conference play.
Yep, sure is. There's no better place to be but up top. So glad we're there and not at the bottom.
Talk about that nice win. I mean, you're at the house there at Provost Humphrey Stadium, and you get the win over Northwestern State.
Yeah, I think there was some big plays. There were some grinded out drives. There was obviously a huge play on special teams with a kick return for a touchdown, and another big special teams play where they had a bad snap and took a knee, and we were able to get the ball there. Mm-hmm. So I think there was a little bit, and our defense played really, really well for most of the game. So I think overall it was a really good team win, and you know that Northwestern State's a really good team, and they challenged us and tied it up in the third quarter. And you know the thing is our kids keep fighting, and they just keep playing, and they keep making plays, and you know, hopefully we continue to do that. We're going to need to do that this week for sure.
You know, you talk about special seasons, and it comes with certain breaks going in games. And you had 2 breaks go your way this past Saturday. You talked about the punt with the punter knee down on the 15. You talk about a fumble in the end zone, which the Cardinals recover. It's been one of those seasons so far, and we hope that keeps going.
So far, yeah, I think there were some unfortunate types against when we played Houston Christian 2 weeks ago, where you know the fumble that wasn't supposed to be and all that stuff. So, you know, it was good to see a couple things go our way because we did have a punt blocked in the game, and that was something that was not good that we're obviously need to get fixed. But I think that overall you got to have some breaks go your way in order to have a big-time win in conference play at home.
Cardinals are 3-0 on the year. By the way, I know you're not going to play much into this, but I'm going to. Coach Pete Rossomando is from Our Coaching Network. Our Coaching Network has been named the mid-season Coach of the Year to this point, and that's pretty cool.
I don't even know what that stuff means.
It means people are now noticing Lamar University football.
Well, I hope so, because the kids deserve that. But I don't know what that means about mid-season Coach of the Year. I've never heard that. No one should be crowning anyone right now. We just need to focus on our week's process and make sure that we get ready to play a darn good SELA team out there in Hammond.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on about Southeastern Louisiana coming up on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff from Hammond, USA. Let's just talk about some individual performances. Kaylin Griffin, another solid afternoon for you on the ground. 18 carries, 93 yards rushing. He had a long one of 21 yards, and he punched one in the end zone.
He did. I think he had eight carries on the first drive of the game. Yeah. So he's our workhorse right now, and he's playing really, really well. And I think he's becoming a great leader. You know, he was always a guy that talked a lot, but, you know, I don't think there was a lot of substance behind the words in the past. But now he's really taken on a great role for our football team, and proud of him and the growth that he's made. But what a player he is right now. He's steady Eddie. He's giving us everything we need in the run game, and great pass protector. He's doing all the things that are required to be a good running back.
You know, another young man that has really showed improvement from last year to this year, seems to get better week by week, wears uniform number 1 from right here in Beaumont, Westbrook, Andre Dennis. 3 catches, 78 yards. Unfortunately, he fumbled one of them, but fortunately, the Cardinals were there with Fusilier to recover in the end zone. Yeah. But Andre's having a good season for you.
Yeah, I think he's, the one thing I could say about Andre is his preparation has been it's been really, really good. I mean, his weeks of practice have been great. He's playing extremely fast because that's exactly the way he practices. Again, he's a young guy who had to learn how to practice and do all that, and he's really taken to it now, and he sees. I think the great part is always when they see success from the preparation, and he's seeing that right now. And the fumble was really, I wouldn't say he was careless with the ball at all. I thought he did a good job of. I think he just needed to realize he was in traffic, and the guy from Northwest came out of nowhere and kind of just ripped it out of his hand. So we were fortunate. Kendon was right there to make the recovery.
We had a similar play on an interception up in South Dakota where the Cards got the ball right back. That's something you guys work on in practice quite a bit. Do you put a lot of time into that?
I wouldn't say we do now, but during preseason we certainly did. We did a lot of it, and I think the guys kind of took to it. But now we do a lot of just ball security, holding on to the ball, not as much fumble recovery work.
Defensively, talk about who stepped it up.
I thought Rob Bonar played one of his best games at Lamar, and he played well last week against Houston Christian. He was nominated for Player of the Game, but this week he really played very, very well. Caleb Williams inside on the D-line played exceptional. Really did a really good job of holding the point inside and really helped us to hold them to under 100 yards rushing.
Speaking of players of the week, back-to-back, last week we had Robert Coleman as the offensive player of the week in the Southland Conference. This week, special teams, Demaja Harris named the Southland Conference Special Team Player of the Week, and obviously was due to that 95-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anybody did that, so I'm assuming that that's the reason why. But, I mean, it's a special play and certainly deserves recognition. And anytime you can bring a kickoff back, because it's just not done as much nowadays as it has been in the past with these guys booming the ball into the end zone. So it's great to see that, and happy for him and, his family and all that.
I'm Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando. We're talking Lamar University football. We are at Little Woodrow's on Phelan Boulevard in the Colonnade Shopping Center. We're back with more Lamar football on News Talk 560 KLVI. News Talk 560 KLVI, the home of the Coach Pete Rossomando show, right here at Little Woodrow's in the Colonnade Shopping Center, here each and every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. By the way, next Wednesday, because of an off week, we won't be here, but we come back the following week for the duration of the season. And Coach, just what a great setting out here.
Yeah, great setting, great turnout tonight for sure.
Looking at some of the other numbers from the game on Saturday. Again, Lamar wins it over Northwestern State, 27-13. I was looking at time of possession, pretty tight, 30:08 for the Cardinals, 2:52 for the Demons.
Yeah, it was. I think we had time of possession at halftime, and then in the third quarter, they seized it a little bit possession-wise, and they were using a controlled passing game and short runs, so we didn't really have a lot of chances to get the ball back. So, but when we did, we made them count.
Fourth down conversions, the Cardinals 2 out of 3. What do you look into when you're looking at a fourth down? Obviously, the yardage needed and position on the field. Is that some of the scenarios?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all based on where we are on the field, what the success rate looked like on third down, on whether we're going to go for it. If we get it within a certain range in a certain field position, we're going to go for it. And guys know I'm pretty aggressive with that sort of stuff, so they're on their toes as far as play calling. So
looking again at the final thoughts on the Northwestern State game. If you do you do players of the week for offense, defense, special teams?
We do, yeah.
Okay, now who is your offensive guy this week?
Offensive player of the week was KG, Kalen Griffin. Defensive player of the week was Rob Bonar. And special teams player of the week was,
of course,
Demaja Harris. Yeah, right.
95-yard kickoff return. And that return, it was as we're looking at the field, he fields it at the 5-yard line on the near side, comes up, tooks to the left, had that wall built up. He had some good blocking, and
he did.
They gave him a little seam, and he gone.
Yeah, he hit the seam pretty good. I mean, and he's like a locomotive. He's a big dude, and he can run. So that kicker was not really too excited about getting into the mix. So he kind of just gave him a little – I think he wanted to show the coach he was trying. But
well, and I'm glad he didn't, but if a kicker tackles him
Yeah.
You know, you know, if there's a kangaroo court or anything like that in football, he's gonna hear about it. You don't get tackled by kickers.
Yeah, no, you try it. It depends on the angle, but not from that angle.
The crowd again, very loud, supportive.
Yeah, great crowd. I don't know if anybody's seen our band, but
Oh, they're fun.
man, they are amazing. They do an incredible job, and I watch them out there practicing in the morning, and they're working their tails off as well. So it's great that they're out there enjoying it, and they're doing a really good job of giving our fans halftime entertainment and all game long. The music sounds great, but our fans have been great, and our families are incredible, and we want to just continue to increase the amount of students that come to the game. To me, that's the most important piece.
I hate giving them credit because Emily and Mitchell are here, but on a serious note, what is cool, you guys are coming out of the locker room, up on the video board. They've got you there on the hill, on the video, getting to run down, arms locked in one another. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, obviously the scoreboard's amazing, and the sound system that they put in is second to none. So we really have an incredible atmosphere in a game day environment. So love for more people to come out and witness what we've got going from just a game day environment is incredible.
We'll talk about this a little bit later on in the program, but the next home game for the Cardinals, 2 weeks from Saturday, because the following week is an open week. Then nationally ranked UIW comes to town. That's going to be a blackout. Where you're black that day.
Blackout. Yep. That's what they tell me.
You just go along. What do they tell you?
Whatever they tell me,
yes,
I do.
sir. There you go.
Exactly.
All right, got to get a second break in. Again, we're at Little Woodrow's in the Colonnade Shopping Center. Get on by here and see us. We're talking Lamar football on News Talk 560 KLVI. News Talk 560 KLVI back out at Little Woodrow's talking Lamar University football. Harold Mann along with Lamar football coach Pete Rossomando. Those of us out here on the patio can see it on a big screen, but if you're out driving around and wondering, the Astros are leading right now 3-1 in the fifth inning over Minnesota. Again, it's the Cardinals and Southeastern Louisiana from Hammond. Strawberry Field coming up 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Before we do that, let's take a look at the Southland Conference standings as we sit here tonight. Lamar 2-0, Nichols 2-0, UIW and A&M Commerce 1-0, HCU 1-2, Northwestern State 0-2, McNeese and Southeastern Louisiana at the bottom looking up at 0-2. With the odd number, different number of teams in the conference, you got byes, so that's why you have some teams with more conference games over other teams.
Yeah. I don't pay very much attention to those right now. It only matters where you finish. Doesn't really matter where you are at the moment. So we got to focus on each week because that's what's most important is the team we're playing next week. The team we played last week, that we put that one to bed on Monday, and we're ready to roll for this week, and we know we got a heck of a challenge.
Let's take a look at Southeastern Louisiana. Again, they are 0-6, but as Coach will get ready to talk about, 0-6, they're still a good football team, whether you want to believe it or not, they are. Mississippi State from the Southeastern Conference, 48-7. South Alabama, the Sun Belt, 35-17. Eastern Washington, a powerhouse year in and year out in FCS, 40-29. HCU, a team we saw 2 weeks ago, 34-19. Tarleton State out of the WAC, 14-13. And UIW, a top 10 ranked team in FCS, 33-26. They've played 6 tough opponents.
Yeah, 6 really, really good teams. And quite honestly, I mean, they could have won. I mean, that Mississippi State game was a tight game.
Until late.
Until late in the game. Obviously, they played well against South Alabama. I think that last week against UIW, they were a couple of turnovers away, and it really, I think it was about 17 yards away from tying the game up late. So, great football team, super talented, well coached. They know where they're supposed to be. This is a team that can expose you pretty quick if you're not ready to play.
Tell us about what they're going to show you. First off, offensively, what are we going to see from Sela?
Well, they play 2 quarterbacks, 17 and 13. And
do they rotate them?
They both play. Yeah, they both play in the games. I don't know what their rotation has been. There doesn't seem to be any specific type of rotation, but they all play, and they play with multiple tight ends. Sometimes up to 4 tight ends on the field at one time, and they're really super talented guys that can play in the pass game and block in the run game. So they give you some issues there, and obviously, you know these teams from the past. They got guys that can finish on the outside. They got wide receivers that can run, and they got running backs that can put it in the box if you don't tackle them and get guys around them. So I thought it was. I thought watching the film, it's really a good football team. If we're not watching scores, so we're watching plays, and man, you see a really good football team. Super talented, run to the football on defense. Offensively, they got playmakers. It's just a matter of a couple breaks going their way.
Do they mix it up pretty much? Will we see more run, pass, an RPO type offense they run, or will we see do they mix it up? Just tell us what they're going to show: more run, more pass, or just whatever happens at that time.
I think they're fairly balanced based on the numbers, but I think they're more. I think they like to create big plays in the pass game with tight ends and different formations, and you're going to see some compact, big tight end, big sets. Then you're going to see some spread out, empty backfield type sets. So you're going to see it all from them pretty much. Obviously, Frank's been an NFL coach. He's been around, and he's got a lot of experience, and you could see that in what they do offensively. And defensively, they're a 4 down front who plays base quarters coverage, and they're going to pressure you with 4 a lot of times, and then to get heated situations, they're going to come after you, and you got to be prepared because they got 4 guys up front that can rush the passer and play the run. So you got to do a really good job against them.
Let's talk about the timetable a little bit. We get the win on Saturday. Is the light switched off immediately on that game to get ready for the next, or do you get the team together, you look at video from the win, and then you start to work on the next opponent?
Yeah, we'll always on Monday. We give them Sunday off, so Sunday's a good chance for them to soak up if it was a win, or lick their wounds if it wasn't, and get ready to go on Monday morning. We got film sessions Monday morning, lifting sessions, and starting to put that to bed. And by the time we get out on the field in the afternoon, we're working on the next opponent.
Now, you able to get out, on the field for 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yes.
Yep. It's like Thursday, T-shirt and shorts and helmet. I mean, are you padded up all the way?
No, we're padded. We're not full, but we're half pads on Thursday. Yeah, today and Thursday, and Tuesday's full pads. Monday's just what we call spiders.
A lot of kids we see on the sideline with the jerseys on, no uniform. Those guys are a big part of your team. They're your red shirts.
Yeah.
And Monday through Thursday, they're busting their butts out there.
Yeah, they're huge part of our team. I think that we've had we've had I think 6 different guys win that. We call them Futures Player of the Week, and guys like Carter Holmes from Westbrook, and we had trying to think of some other guys that are local guys that have won it, but Royce Morales from Houston, defensive end, and Alex Sumler, a Louisiana guy. So I think we've had just about everybody win it, and it's fun to watch those guys. On Mondays, we do a scrimmage with all those guys.
Oh, really?
And we let them go out in pads and play and run our offense and defense, and we probably spend about 20 minutes out there with them, coaching them up and getting them to run our offense and defense. So it's a great time for them. They have a lot of fun with it.
Now, I've noticed Aiden McCown suiting up.
Yeah.
Number 14, freshman out of Rusk. Is what does he do during the week? Does he run a scout team? How do you utilize him?
Love him. I mean, Aiden's going to be a special player, I think, for us. He's I think the last 3 or 4 weeks, things have really clicked for him as far as understanding offense and where to go with the ball and how to operate, and he's really becoming a lot more comfortable. And he spends about half the time with them and half the time with us. He's really dialed in meetings, and obviously super impressive background, but more importantly, him as a person, Aiden as a person, has really brought a lot to the table for our football team.
When you're recruiting a future Cardinal, you look beyond just what they're going to do on the football field. Do you look at what they're going to provide off the field as well? Because I know so many coaches that really love coaching coaches' kids. And although Aiden's really not a coach's kid, he's a son of an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, which is a coach.
Yeah.
And, I think they, the family's incredible. They're great people. They're faith-based, grounded, and I think Aiden's the same way. He's a perfectionist, but he's not defined by football, which I think is great. It's what he does, not who he is, and I think that is awesome to see. But I think that helps you play freer, too, when you're like that, and that's what's helped him, I think, really come along over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
We have talked about this in the past. Obviously, coaches, for the most part, really haven't met a coach who hasn't. Like the idea where you can give a kid an opportunity to play in 4 games and save the red shirt.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit to be able to do that. And in the past, you couldn't do it.
Right,
so
you play one play, you're done.
You play one play, and that's happened before. Guys run on the field, you didn't even realize it. He was, hey, we need a tight end. The guy runs out there, sets up, kick a field goal, and now that guy's he's lost his whole year.
He's burned a year.
No doubt. So I think that there's I think the NCAA was wise in passing that rule. I think it's great, gives kids an opportunity to test the waters a little bit and see if they're ready and still maintain that red shirt.
Now, do we have any of those here at Lamar that are going to see just 4 games and save the red shirt?
We could. Yeah, we could. I mean, there's not a plan for that right now, but there could be some guys that, with injuries or whatever, have to play in a few games, and then we can maintain their red shirt.
National Signing Day, we've talked about this in the past as well. For those who may not have been tuned in weeks past, I don't know how long ago it's been now when we've had the December signing class.
February, first week of February.
Right, but do you have the early signing in December?
Oh, how many years that's been?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it started 5 years ago.
So, now do you like the early signings?
I do. I think it's really good for players to get, guys that have been committed for a long time to get their, get paperwork signed. And, just because they're committed verbally doesn't mean that a school has to honor the scholarship, and most do. But so it's good to get signed on the dotted line. And for us, it's really good to have a guy committed and signed so that that, hey, you can count on this guy being there in preseason camp or in January in some cases where they come in the mid-year.
And that was going to mention in the past when you did have your traditional February, there were some kids that came in a semester and worked. But once you got them signed and sealed, you get them in there December. And that's huge coming in the semester in January because you could work out in the spring and even do the spring games.
Right, yeah. I think that gives them a lot more college reps. But one thing that I'll say is at the FBS level, that is critical.
Is it?
Because those kids a lot of times are ready to play right away. A lot of times at the FCS level, there's a lot more red shirting, a lot more development that goes on. But at the FBS level, the mid-year guys as freshmen, it's critical to have them there because they get the offense or the defense or the special teams installed and repeated 3 times. You got a pretty good chance to learn it after the 3rd time. So we had a couple guys do that this year, and it really paid huge dividends for them coming into the fall.
We are at Little Woodrow's talking Lamar University football, the Coach Pete Rossomando Show. We're back on News Talk 560 KLVI. News Talk 560 KLVI back out at Little Woodrow's. Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando talking Cardinals football. Cardinals get the 27-13 win over Northwestern State this past Saturday, getting ready for the 3rd Southland Conference trip of the year, game of the year, which is a trip over to Hammond, Louisiana. Before we talk about Louisiana, Let's talk about New Jersey. Your buddy Nick Costa
Yeah.
is listening right now in New Jersey, and he's a no offensive line guy. What's that now?
He's an O-line guru, believe it or not, and he invented a play called the super wedge. So he's been trying to get me to use it for the last 8 years. So.
Well, and Nick, I'm going to back you on this. Why haven't you used the super wedge?
Well, he said that the Eagles stole it from him. You know,
Okay.
the tush push they call it. But yeah, Big Nicky back home listening in New Jersey. Obviously, we appreciate him. He came down and visited us in the spring, and we hope we get him back soon.
That's pretty cool. That of course, with the advantage of the KLVI and iHeartRadio, you're able to do that. Do you get a lot of family and friends from out east tuning in and viewing the games, listening to games?
They do, yeah. They watch every game every week, and anything that's on ESPN Plus, they're glued in and texting me and texting my wife, and they're getting their football in for sure. They're Cardinal football.
And I guess Nick was a little disappointed because you only gave the O-line a C+.
A C-.
Oh,
Yeah,
C-.
he didn't like that.
Don't
He sticks up for those guys.
Yeah. Don't you know all offensive linemen deserve A+?
That's what he believes, for sure.
Hey, Nick, thanks for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Again, southeastern Louisiana. You ever been to Hammond?
Never been. Well, I've driven through it. Yeah, I've driven through Hammond on my way here from Tennessee.
Get them over there this week. And again, the Lions 0-6 on the year. This is a team that's been to the FCS playoffs the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
And,
sure have.
They still looking at a possible conference, championship. So they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, they're, like I said, it's not because they don't have talent, and it's not because they haven't played pretty well. They haven't had a complete game, and I hope they don't have one on Saturday. So I'm trying to avoid that part of it. But we better show up because this is a really good football team we're playing. I know that for sure, and I know they're well coached, and they got confidence and they got swagger and they got all kinds of things that we're looking to accomplish. They have conference championship trophies and. They have playoff appearances and victories, and that's obviously the main goal for Lamar football.
Now, you are an East Coast guy. You've been down here your first year here at Lamar University, Southland Conference, your first year. Anything surprise you? Anything different? I mean, football's football when you break it down, but anything different, say, how the Southland Conference compares with some of the conferences you've been in before at this level?
Well, I think this conference is a lot more physical than people give it credit for. I think people think the South, they think spread, they think, finesse football, and that couldn't be further from the truth in this league. Teams are pounding the football. They're playing great run defense. I think the conference overall is way tougher than people give it credit for, top to bottom.
It obviously means weight room. Means so much to you guys during the season and more so off season. Just talk about how many hours right now during the season you hit the weight room. Is it every day?
No. Oh, absolutely not. No. Our starters and guys that play the most plays, they're in the weight room twice a week, and then our guys who are backups. Primary backups that don't maybe play half the game, they're in 3 days a week, and then we have our developmental group, and they lift 4 days a week. So, and usually it's about 45-minute session each time.
Now I might put you on the spot here, but I don't know how to phrase it, but I'll just phrase it the way I'm going to. Who would be your weight room guy? What player is the guy in the weight room?
Will Caleb Williams he's pretty special in the weight room. I mean, he squatted 680 pounds.
Wow.
He bench pressed 460 pounds, and he power cleans well over 350 pounds. So he's a really special guy in there. Cam George, one of our receivers, set the school record for squat this year.
A receiver.
Receiver at close to 500 pounds. I think those, from a skill guy and a lineman, those what I would say are the two guys that set the bar in the weight room as far as performance goes.
Now, do guys rally around one another? I mean, you see, say, see Will or Cam or somebody, they're going for a personal record. Are guys there cheering them on, supporting them?
Yeah.
If so, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
It's a lot of fun. It's our performance coach Pat Walker does an unbelievable job, and the energy and enthusiasm in there is contagious. So when you get in there and you think you want to just hang out and watch, you wind up getting in there, jumping on guys, celebrating, and it's really a lot of fun for everybody.
I know the kids will do it, the players will do it. Do the coaches get involved as well?
Yeah. No, coaches go crazy. They like it better than some of the players do, because they know how important that room is to our success. And,
all right, I asked you what player is the weight room man. Which one of your coaches would be the locker room, the weight room man?
Oh, definitely Coach Cordova. I mean, he's
a monster.
He's in there every day. Every day he's in the weight room.
He's all
every single day. He doesn't miss a day. We call it filling the sleeves. He's filling the sleeves up every day.
And Coach Cordova and Gibson, two of the guys held over from the previous staff, and they're doing a heck of a job for you as well.
Yeah, they're great people and great leaders of men, and obviously they're doing an awesome job in their rooms, and we appreciate everything. Coach Gibson's our recruiting coordinator, and if anybody knows more about Texas high school football than Kobe Gibson, I would challenge them to a knowledge off on that. He knows coaches, he knows players, he knows junior colleges. He is dialed into every aspect of recruiting in this state.
And that's what it takes now. Do you regionalize your coaches? Okay, you're recruiting this area, you're recruiting this area, you're recruiting this area?
Yeah, 100%.
And
so we have 3 coaches in Houston. We got 3 coaches in Dallas. The Dallas Metroplex area. We have coach in Waco, coach in Austin. We have East Texas, which is Coach Gibson, and we all share Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 coaches in Louisiana.
Well, I'm sure Cordova gets New Orleans.
Coach Cordova's got part of Houston.
Okay.
And he's got New Orleans and part of Louisiana. He has a lot of connections in that area, being a St. Augustine grad.
That's it. Hey, I tell you what, we got to get our final break in. Again, our final break from Little Woodrow's talking Lamar University football on News Talk 560 KLVI. News Talk 560 KLVI, Harold Mann along with Coach Pete Rossomando talking Lamar University football. Cardinals getting set to take on Southeastern Louisiana over in Hammond. That's coming up on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock. The following week, it's an open week for the Cardinals, and Coach already mentioned earlier it's coming at a pretty good time for them.
Yeah, it is. Everyone can use a bye, and I like it right here in the heart or the meat of our season, and we get a chance to get a few guys back and obviously get a little bit more healthy, and then get some mid-season recruiting in as well. Next week will be a big recruiting week for the staff.
Now, Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff in Hammond. I'm glad for you guys. Now, me and James Dixon will pull out here Saturday morning. I'm glad you're leaving Friday because you're not going to have to put up with what we're going to have to put up with, that LSU traffic in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we're not going to deal with that. We're actually staying in Baton Rouge,
okay.
but going out of Baton Rouge is a lot easier than getting in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So. You just talk about, and we talk about this every week. When you hit the road, leave mid-afternoon on Friday, get over there and get settled in?
Yeah, we'll probably try to get to the hotel by 5:30, and then we have all night to do our recovery, to do our team bonding stuff and team meals and snacks and things of that nature. So it's a fun night for the guys and gives them a chance to get in bed early and get a good night's sleep.
Several schools, maybe on a Saturday morning, team chapel. Do you guys provide that?
We do. Yeah, we do. We actually have a Bible study on Thursday, which is obviously optional, but a lot of our guys do go. And we have a former player, as you know, Carson Earp, played quarterback here, and I actually recruited him in Central Connecticut.
He told me that that he had you had recruited him.
I did at Navarro Community College. Had a chance to get to meet him and his dad. Dad was a high school coach. Incredible family, and they chose Lamar, when I got the job, Carson reached out and, right away said, I can't believe you still have my number in your phone, but I thought you would have gotten rid of it when I went to Lamar, but I'm so glad you're here. And he's been with our guys every week.
Super young man.
Yeah, great.
And down the race, somewhere way back down the line, he is related to Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, he told me that. We actually asked him that on his visit when he came to
really?
Central. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but he's been great. And then, we do a chapel. A lot of times Carson will do it, but if he's not traveling with us, then it'll be one of our coaches.
Yeah, I know. Has he traveled? I know last year he went on the New Mexico State trip when we went out there to provide the chapel.
He'll travel to a few games for sure. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and I appreciate you for doing that. A guy that played here and in the role he plays, the aspect he plays for your football team, having a former player come back and do that, because he's not that much older than him.
No, he's not. He's not, and he's lived the experiences of a Lamar football player, and I think that's important. But most important, I think it gives our players a sense of mental well-being. I think with mental health being on the forefront nowadays, I think having a connection with somebody who's been there and done that, I think it really helps our guys to unwind and really get some things off their chest, which is great.
Again, it's the Cardinals, and again, we love those three. I love the 3 o'clock kickoffs. I know if the AD would go for it, you'd kick out at 10 o'clock in the morning if it let you. But the 3 o'clock kickoffs are good all the way around for the fans and everybody, but not in August and September.
Yeah, I would rather kick off at 3 in August and September, to be honest with you. The nerves throughout the course of a day on game day for me are just too much. So.
Now, I asked you this last week, in case someone wasn't listening. Let's talk about it again. Friday night, not on a home, not necessarily on the road, because things change a little bit on the road, but on a home Friday night, does Pete Rossomando get any sleep overnight?
I get a few hours. Yeah, I get a few hours. I'll get to bed early and.
Unless you're watching your kid play football, yeah.
Well, last week we were in Splendora, and
right.
That's an hour and a half drive. So we didn't get home till midnight, but I did get some rest. A 3 o'clock game, that was a positive. But I usually am up. I get up at 4:30 every morning, so my alarm's going off in my head at 4:30, regardless of whether my alarm on my phone's going off.
And just to talk about it as a dad, being able to watch your son play most of his high school football games as a senior. That's got to be special now. Like this week, he plays on Friday night, but you ought to be in Hammond. So.
Yeah, and it's a big game. They're playing Vider, and both teams are really good. And but I'll hopefully be able to stream it and watch it online. But, yeah, it's a proud moment as a dad to watch your son play and be a leader on the team and have so many positive things happening for him. And he's a great kid, and I think everybody will tell you that. But for me, it's, we gave him the choice to stay in Tennessee, and he chose to come down here and play. And,
well, we're glad he did.
Me too. And I'm blessed that I get to go watch him most weeks and have that special time with him and my wife and get to share a senior year with
now,
him.
When you're sitting in the stands at Lumberton High School, or if Lumberton's on the road, are you Dad Pete or are you Coach Pete?
Dad Pete, for sure. Dad Pete. Yeah, I don't make calls from the stands.
That's true. All right.
Nobody likes those guys.
Those Monday morning quarterbacks?
It's a lot easier to call them in the stands than it is on the sideline.
It is. Just a couple minutes ago, again, Coach Pete Rossomando, just an outstanding start to this football season. I know lost the first 3 to just unbelievable non-conference opponents. You're winners of 3 in a row, and just the confidence level, the momentum level on this team is high as it's ever been since I've been around Lamar football.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the confidence level is high. I think that our weekly preparation has to get better. We're still not there with that yet, but our kids are battling. They've been battlers their whole careers here, but they haven't seen a lot of success for the battle, and I think they've had some success. It's only 3 weeks. It doesn't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but it does get the ball rolling in the right direction. And it obviously makes practices a lot easier and
Right.
juice and a lot more juice. And guys are still, our guys have done a really good job. And we preach standards over circumstances. We have a specific standard. We got to live up to it. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are. Our guys have done a great job with it all year long. No matter what, when we roll in 3, they were still working their tails off. So I'm more proud of them for that than I am for about the 3 wins.
And they've accepted that, and they've stepped up to that.
Yeah, and I think they know that we're not going to accept anything less than the standard. They've said it, and we know they got to live up to it every day, and that's where we are. And I think if we can continue to improve that part of it, it won't matter what the record says. I can't be emotionally attached to the results. We have to work on the process.
Bottom line, just keep moving forward, get better each practice, get better each game.
No doubt.
Coach, thank you as always so much, and we will see you Saturday afternoon over at Strawberry Field in Hammond, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
All right, that is Coach Pete Rossomando. Again, reminder, we are not here next week. We're taking a week off because of the off week. We're back here in 2 weeks. Tune in Saturday afternoon right here on KLVI for Cardinal football. If you can't make it over to Hammond, we'll have it for you right here with a 3 o'clock kickoff. For Coach Pete, I'm Harold. Good night, everyone.